Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Futures Club podcast, where we come to chill and get our minds right. I am Judith Daniel, your host and owner of Juju Star Productions LLC, where we have an array of products designed to help and encourage and uplift and push you forward in life. If you want to know more, go ahead and click that link. But for now, sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Futures Club podcast. So, if you know me, you know I've done a podcast before and it was called Jay's Closet. So, it's still sort of the same thing. We're just doing it under my company name, Juju Star Productions LLC. And it's more geared towards that program that I have available. So, when I say that program that I have available, it's just an inspiring, maybe new way to think about things, get a different perspective and take on our everyday situations in order for you to just feel more comfortable in who you are and knowing that you got this. This episode in particular, we're just going to be shooting the breeze for a minute. The next one that are going to follow, I'm going to actually import those over from Jay's Closet on the other podcast station that I was using onto this one. And we'll see how this goes. If you know me, then you know in the past, I wasn't the most consistent. Why? Because I don't do social media like that. Why? Because I don't want to. I mean, there's certain things that I like to do and be a consumer of, but me putting my own things out there, I was like, yeah, I don't got time. I don't want to do. But my mind has changed. So these podcasts are going to be done weekly. And I'm going to try to do them on Wednesdays, give you a little mid-week pick-me-up. But this first one is kind of, let's just get started. Let's jump in, right? Let's go. And then the other ones, like I said, that'll be coming over are going to be from the Jay's Closet, and I'm just going to import them in so you can kind of see what we did a little bit. I might take 2 or 3, or I don't know. We'll see how it goes once I get over there and look at everything. And then every Wednesday, I will have this up, or you can go right to the website, which I'll leave in the link below because I don't know what it is right now. We know how that works with me. So once I go and look and figure out what it says, then I'll let you know too. I don't know why I'm like that. I don't know. Like I don't remember stuff like, I mean, I care, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, well, I'm not using it right now, so there's already so much stuff in my memory bank that I have to do on a daily basis. It's like, okay. So, if you can hear my voice, you know that we just went through a little episode of chaos. And not really more like WTF chaos, and I'm going to work on my cussing because I want everyone to be able to enjoy this. So yeah, you guys, you also made it through those days. No matter if you're a little baby, you were under your parents' watch, no matter if you was a grown up and you was under the Lord's watch, you made it through those days. And I'm a reflective person. I like to take time and think about things, mostly because I don't have a life, but also because it helps me to give a perspective when there's no outside influence that I'm trying to look for to give me. I go back in my memory bank and say, okay, this is what happened. Dang, like this is what it was. And then think about things and move a little bit forward. So, I don't know. I hope everyone is all right. As always, the biggest concern on my mind is everybody all right? How you feeling? You need to take a deep breath? Did you cry? You should probably cry and get it out, you know? And then you can man back up, you know what I'm saying? But be honest with your feelings. Like sometimes it's scary, right? Sometimes it's super sad stuff going on. Sometimes you sit there like, what the fuck is this? Like they really think we don't see what they're doing, or do they not just not care no more? You know, there's a lot of different thoughts, and guess what? Each one of those are valid. Each one of those are valid. So that's enough banter, enough information, enough, you know what I mean? So we can jump right in, right? On today's episode specifically, I wanted to go back to the beginning of Pandora. Okay. Um, because I was reflecting and I was like, you know what? I've never been through anything like that before. I've never seen days like that before. And I've had some bad days, right? But the funny thing about this was I felt like I'm okay. We're gonna be okay. Dang, I hit the mic. All right. We're gonna be okay. And I'm gonna tell you why. First, let me start off by saying I'm Judith Daniel. Coach J. I'm not gonna say the other one because it's only for family purposes. Um, or whatever. And I had an agent who used to call me Danny. Like, I am a mommy, right? Because this is probably the first and last time that I'm going to talk about, because those are things that I keep private. Um, I own Juju Star Productions LLC. I am from all over the US. And some people would say, yeah, she's telling the truth though. But I was originally born in Seattle. I consider home DC. Grew up a little bit in the Midwest, and I am a traveler. So I have lived in all quadrants of the US except for Alaska, up there in Maine and New York and all that. And some would say that I used the United States as my backyard. So I'm a traveler. And what else? So I own Juju Star Production. Under that, the branches of that company are Acting with a Purpose, where I teach acting classes. I do private lessons, I do group lessons, and I also can teach and show you how to run a drama ministry at your church. And I do workshops. So you can go to my website, awapzone.com, and kind of look at everything over there. I, yes, am an actress, working actress, have been since a long time, over 20 years. Started out in theater, started out in very, very small theater. Shout out to CF in the Quad Cities. Started out there, fell in love with it, was like, yes, this is me. Then went into film, moved out to Cali, did a couple of those there, and then started teaching it. I love this. I love that feeling like you can do anything. And I'd like to pass that on for the ones that really want to take it and go. You can really do anything. And you don't have to just live in Cali to make a name for yourself, right? We don't, there were certain things when I was younger. It was like, oh, you got to get to California if you want to, you know what I'm saying? But we can make it whatever we want to make it. And my hope is to do that right here where I am. Another branch under there is the Futures Club. So it's started out as the Sassy Movement, which is a safe at school initiative. My goal in that is to take suicide off the table as an option because we don't need it. And I show you why we don't need it and how you don't even need to consider that anymore. I do life coaching, I do group coaching, and I do private life coaching sessions. I have a new session that's going to be starting in February. I'll give more details on that, but it's going to be on Fridays for about an hour and a half. And this will be my first time doing an online group coaching session. So I'm getting ready for that. Um, you can go over there and check out the program. You can see all the different levels, how long the program lasts, the costs, blah, blah, blah. And then if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up. You can see all my information there. Another one, a oldie but a goodie, is JD Safety First. So I went ahead and brought that back. And that is my self-defense products, where we have like the stun guns, we have the mace, anything to keep a woman safe. Also diversion safes for those who don't want to be riding dirty. Like, you know what I mean? Like we can conceal those things and help to promote healthy driving and lessen those uh, financial penalties that may arise from such use of our lived lifestyle. So you can go to JD's First. That's JD Safety First. See, I don't, the names again, I will put them in the description or link somewhere. JD Safety 1st.com. I am trying to think what else do I have over there under that. Oh, so I'm also a notary public and I do loans to businesses. You can check that out on with JudithDanielISO.com. Ha ha ha. I am looking for an assistant. Anyone want to apply? Hit me up. So you can go there and I do business loans. I have money for sale. And if you need some, come talk to me. We fill out the paperwork. I get you going. You can look at my intro video. You can look at my how does it work video because I'm not going to explain it here again. It just takes a little while. And once I get going, then I get sidetracked. So that is me in a nutshell. That is what I do. My purpose in life is to show you that you have wings and to teach you how to fly. To reintroduce you to you, not to the you that everybody else sees that you think you should be like because that's how they say they see you. Not the you that grew up with your parents and your parents gave you all these rules and told you what to do and how to be and what you should act like. No, I reintroduce you to you, the version of yourself that you enjoy. And let you know that, hey, it's okay because we all go through a reinvention station, like a reinventing of ourself because we're finally seeing ourselves, or how they say growing into yourself, and your thoughts change, your ways change. Sometimes you say, hey, they brought me up like this, but that's kind of wrong. They shouldn't have beat me like that. You know what I mean? Or whatever your situation might have been. You say, okay, so these are my perspectives, even though those were your perspectives, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know what we're doing. We try to do the best that we can with what we have, right? That's, like everybody. So when we do that, right? And we start to come into our own, sometimes we're like, but how do we use it though? Or like, well, how do I, what, it becomes too much. Okay. But when we suppress ourselves, that's where the depression, that's where the I don't think I'm worthy, that's where the outside influences start sounding louder than your voice, and you start listening to them. And that is kind of a dangerous road because if somebody's having a bad day and their spirit is fucked up and they treat you like that and you're depending on them for how you feel, that leads to all kind of chaos. That leads to all kind of serious things. And it's not good. So I am here on this podcast, just talking just daily, regular everything, but also inserting those gems of, nah, but look at it this way. You know what I mean? Just drip dropping on you a little bit and letting you go ahead and think about that for the rest of the day. Or you can call me, or you can hit me up on the email or the text or a message through my website and be like, I heard the podcast today, right? And da 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 da. And we can have a conversation. Now, can I do that with everyone all the time? No, because sometimes it gets overwhelming. And that's why I created the group, so that we can actually have that dialogue. so that I can hear you and I can respond in real time. Um, and again, there'll be more information about that. So let's get back to our topic of the day. And I'm just a regular person and I don't really edit these. So what I give is what you get, and that's what it is. So it's not always going to be perfect. Why? Because life is not perfect. In my me, I include my flaws. I don't try to suppress them or act like they don't exist. Because then I'm hurting me. Because then now I'm being fake, and I don't have a really good fake face. So that the things that I do here, my errors, that's how it is in life. So why are we always trying to act like they don't happen or we don't have them? Or, like to look better to somebody else when they got the same flaws. You know what I mean? How many times do you think they need to take that selfie before they get the right one? Nobody wakes up like this. And it's like when we're going through the motions of our day, we don't really remember that, oh, they have flaws too. So, for your weekly flaw session, come and get with me. So, going back to when Pandora's box opened in the very beginning, and I was like, so I didn't have a man at the time, right? It was me and it was my babies. And we were going through a situation, right? Where I just moved back to Indianapolis and we were in a hotel because I was just starting my job and all those different things, but they hired me sooner than me finding a place. So we had to start there. So then the Pandora's box opens wide up and hey, y'all can't go nowhere. Okay. Now, a little bit of a backstory is I didn't have the best of everything growing up, right? Sometimes it was pretty bad. Sometimes it was pretty fun, you know. But it's like I have been through some things um, in my life that were not always pretty, where I didn't even think I was gonna make it. So when it comes to this point and something of this magnitude, where on the news they're talking about, yo, we about to shut this down, I had a couple thoughts pass through my mind. And the only thing that I know to do, that I know that works, that I have experience with, and that has been proven true, is going to God about it. So I was driving, shout out to Maryville, and I was driving, um, and I was on my way to, I don't know where I was going. Um, oh, so it was after I heard about it. I'm like, okay, let me go get some stuff, and then, we're gonna be all right. And I was driving to Big Lots, and like everybody was taking everything. Like the shelves were like, there's no more water, toilet paper, non-existent, you know. And then it's like, well, okay, it's serious. Like there's something going on. Like, this could be a problem, right? And again, it's just me. It's just my babies. And I say babies, but half of them is grown. Like nobody's a baby really, right? So I'm like, all right, before I start to panic, because like I said, this is the biggest issue of my life I've ever seen the world go through. Um, and it's like in my grown life, because I was a child when 9/11 happened, and I think that would have been the other thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm taking all these groceries. I went back to the hotel and I went to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, before I start to panic and I start to act like what I just saw, because it's in me to flip out, right? I was like, let me go back to the roots. Okay, what did he say? Because if there was ever a time to depend on him, this would be the time, right? And I went and I prayed, and he took me to Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. You got to figure it out for yourself. But oh my goodness, you guys. When I tell you I felt like a kept and protected woman, I felt like a kept and protected woman. We did not have the type of struggles I thought we were going to have. And I have been homeless, right? I have been down bad, right? And we had abundant everything. And I am like, are you kidding me? Everything. I was able to work through the pandemic, Dora. I don't know what the issues are with the words now, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. But I was able to work the whole time. We had plenty of food. Everything was paid for, plenty of money, you know. And I'm not just talking about barely getting by. I'm talking about, I don't know where this is coming from, but we got it, right? Um, I didn't do the what do they call it? Like the unemployment things that everybody was getting. Felt like I was getting left out because they made it sound like this was the lick right now. So I didn't do any of the PPP loans or any of the anything, y'all. And he maintained us because I called on him. And he said he'll provide a way of escape. Just because I called his name. And not only that, but he gave me comfort that lasted even right till today. 3 years later, 4 years later, what are we, 2023 right now? So what I'm saying is, there is a way to do this world and this life where you don't have to leave early, where your voice can sound bigger than everybody else's, and you can live it how you want to live it without the restrictions that others might put on you because of their limited thinking. And where you will be kept and protected. But some people don't understand everything that goes into that. They think, well, you know, we're just going to do it how we do it, and that's, how do you do it then? When people say those things, but they don't really understand the path that they're going to do it, it's like, the how though? How, soy? You know, we don't really think that detailed into things in order to figure out the plan that we actually have to take in order to move forward. We just say something that's catchy and spiffy, and, we think we're just gonna get by on our wit. No, there's more to it than that. I offer a world where you don't have to be depressed. I offer a perspective of you knowing the exact moves to make because you chose to make them, and how you choose to make the right moves. It's like God is our foundation, and we have all these resources that we can choose from to help us along our path. But if we don't pick up the resources that we need to use, and we don't pick up the mindsets that we should have, it makes things that much harder for no reason. Because people don't realize that we are not our past, we are our right now. And your thoughts from the right now are what's going to make that future. You can make it positive, you can make it negative, you can make it restricted, you can make it a burden, or you can make it exciting You can make it abundant. You can make it blissful and peaceful. And that all starts in your mind. Yes, your thoughts create the things. And your thoughts also create the emotions that you feel, which then kind of motivate, positive or negative, your actions. So if we're living in that past of that hurt, are we still physically in that past? Are we still physically being hurt? No. It's because the thoughts in our mind keep taking us back there. Do we physically keep reliving that moment where we're being physically hurt, just as an example? No. It's our mind that keeps bringing that thought, that triggers us to make us feel like we are living in that moment and being hurt. But we're not. We're here right now. We're not in that moment because that moment is in the past. So if we can focus and we can understand our thoughts and how they work, we can get to where we want to be. And all those underlying issues that come from us living in our past thoughts can be a thing of the past. Because what if you said, just for right now, just for the next 2 minutes, I am not going to think about that thing. I'm going to think about apples. Apples are red. Apples are juicy. Apples are good. All right? And redirect our mind onto what is appropriate, onto the things that we want to have. Because if we really wanted to, we can forget about that past. How do we forget about our past? It's always there. It's da 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 da. Stop thinking about it. Stop pondering on it. Get you a new thought. Get you some new feeling. That's why when he says focus on the things that are good, on the things that are pure, on the things that are lovely, that's the purpose of that. So I could relive all those days if I wanted to. I can relive the days when I was getting bullied. And I could sit there and I could think about it and I could bring it all up and I could see people's faces and I could know their names and I could see what they're doing and I could remember what they're wearing and I could. But why though? When nothing is wrong today. See, we put our minds in those cages. We put our minds in those cages. You'd be like, but Jay, it hurts so bad. Like it hurt my heart. I couldn't sleep for days. Whatever the valid excuse might be. Because you are absolutely right. If you say it hurts your heart, it hurts your heart. If you say you couldn't sleep for days, you couldn't sleep for days. I'm not disputing anything about the way that you feel because all those things are valid. I would prefer that, and what would be more beneficial is that you find a new thought to think about. Just for a couple minutes. Even if you have to say to yourself out loud, okay, but I'm not in that moment anymore. And there's a whole process and a way to go about those things. And my goal is to show you can do it. And we are all human, having this human experience. And we all have all kind of thoughts. But you get to pick and choose what you ponder on. And then we have to dig a little deeper. It's like, why do you want to ponder on that? What is that going to do for you? How is that going to help you in your tomorrow? How is that even going to help you in your today, in the next hour? Because once you're done with that thought and you calm down, you still have to move through the day. So now you just placed a burden upon yourself to carry with you on that day. And you don't have to. The whys are only there sometimes. Sometimes there is no why. But I'll show you how to get on the other side of that mountain. So, I am going to stop it right there. I have a little outro prepared. And I hope you guys realize that this journey, this thing called life, it can be done. There's people out there winning. They're winning in peace. Their minds are clear. They can see the sunny side. And I want to show you how to see it too. So you can follow me on whatever I post, because I have no clue right now. And we can do this journey together. I think you're worth it for me to be here. So I'm going to be here. Until next Wednesday, I hope you guys have a very good day. And then our homework is going to be when a thought that's negative arises, switch it to something else. I don't care what. Just switch it. See what happens when you switch it. All right? So, enjoy your week. Enjoy the people around you. And if you don't, get rid of them. They're unnecessary. Just saying. All right. Have a good one, y'all. As always, thank you for joining us again for another episode. We hope you enjoyed yourself, but the best way to know is if you leave a comment or you send me a message and you actually let me know. If you have any questions, I would love to be able to answer those on the next episode, so go ahead and leave me that as well. But until next time, just know you are worth it to be wherever you want to be.